Hello all, and welcome to another video from Agne. It's a bit late for me, and I don't typically release videos midweek, but we're going to jump right into it. We're going to be discussing the new ant that I cannot pronounce, the Formica Clara. So we're going to be discussing that as well as the testing that I did. I did about 40 hits of testing. Some of them were testing different combinations before I really set into what I really wanted to test and what I found to be kind of the most effective. So there's really only about 20 hits that are what I found to be the most effective. I'm going to have to do more testing because typically you want to do about 100 hits of testing. But anyway, before we get into all that, go through the formalities that we usually have. We do have a Discord link, which I will drop in the description below. This is a community tool, and it's meant to be there to be exactly that, to be a community tool. Anybody is welcome to join. We try to help everybody, but we also don't allow no bullying, no being mean, anything like that, or else you will be kicked and banned. There is no question that is too small to ask. If you have a question, please post it. We love video ideas and helping people, and anything that you need, we're happy to help. In addition to that, as we continue to grow, eventually YouTube will start monetizing my content. When they do, for the first 3 months, I will be giving 100% away to whoever subscribed and in my Discord in a bi-weekly draw. After the 3 months, 25% will be given in a monthly draw to whoever is subscribed and in the Discord. So invite your friends and let's see where this goes. Let's see how many people we can help, because frankly, that's why I started doing this, is to be able to help people. Anyway, we'll jump right into it. So first off, we'll go over the skills of the ant first. You have your general command skill. Not really something to write home about. Now this one, it's a pre-combat skill. Reduce the skill damage dealt to all of our squads by 60% in the first round. This effect decreases by 15% each round until it hits 0. That's big. This immediately, when I read this, before I even purchased it or anything, gave me the old school Banshee Panda vibes. For those that have been around long enough for the old school Banshee Panda, the old school Banshee Panda was essentially, it was OP as hell. It was, the first 4 rounds is essentially dodging everything. So if you had a strong enough DPS behind it, it was eliminating the target before they'd ever have a chance to hit you. And this gave me that kind of vibe almost immediately until I put it into testing, and we'll go into that. Because, yeah. Anyway, then you have your generic defense, generic attack. Now you have your first actual combat skill, which has a 50% damage chance to deal 150% damage plus special a level. Damage to the enemy's 2 random squads, increasing their additional skill damage taken by 25%. The effect will double when confronting carrier squads for 2 rounds. So immediately this makes it something that is very viable against carriers, increasing the damage up to 100% more than you're supposed to do already. So that's very, very good. Plus, with the other skill that they have later on, paired with that, it makes it very OP. Then you have your generic command skill. Generic. Now, this is where I was starting when I first was looking at the stand, being like, oof, I'm not sure if shooters are really going to benefit from this. Because shooters, as you know from my channel, are very widely glass cannon. So that means, you need to get in and out very quickly to be able to have any real effect. Then we get into this one. So during the battle, heals are front line, so have a healing ratio of 200% in each round. Increases the additional skill damage of our shooter squad in the back line by 5%. Stackable. When the combat skill of the back line is triggered, increases the additional skill damage of the squad by 100% plus special level damage to the target of the skill once per round. That's pretty fucking huge. So in the Banshee Panda, and it still has the skill of the day, it used to be just flat shooter attack damage. But what this is doing is it's multiplying what the actual skill damage of your shooter ant is actually doing. Which I've gone over a little bit about how combat damage works, but that's pretty insane because not only is it a 5% stackable damage, but you're also getting additional skill damage of 100% plus special ant, so potentially 150%, 155% skill damage on anything that you do. That is huge. So already it made the ant look extremely tasty. But now we'll get into the actual testing. Like I said earlier, I did approximately 40 hits of testing until my stamina was out. I'm not going to showcase some of the kind of crossing that I was doing with different things because I had suggestions in the Discord about trying it with like Clara and Banshee Panda, and those hits were not going very well. So I'm going to showcase specifically what I found was the best, as well as what I typically versus what I would typically use. And with my limited hits, like I said, you usually want to do about 100 hits, but I was limited to about 40. So we'll go into that first. As you can see, I used my usual Giant Tooth Lathy Remaster first for this. You can see the stats. It's what I've been using for a very long time. And then the very first hit, as you can see, I had a increase in power loss and a decrease in power taken. So I was like, I'm not so sure about this. But if you look at the stats, the defense essentially went through the freaking roof as far as what it usually is, as well as, some of the other stats. But as we started to go through, like the third one, I started seeing the major difference in the attack. Now, all of these were done with the same exact march, the same exact side on both ends, to try to give the most clarity in actions and stats and everything else to try to differentiate what was better and what was not. Now, after I ran out of stamina, I ran into duels, and what we did is I attacked my friend Carver first, also plus shout out to B, shout out to Carver, shout out to Troy for helping me do the testing that I did today to give you at least a limited perspective of this ant. So to start, I used my normal march, but I had switched it from what I usually use in duels, which is usually a guardian shooter. I switched it over to a pure shooter just so it would be an accuracy test to what I typically use outside of duels. And you can see our stats there. So I originally attacked him with my typical march, the Giant Tooth Remaster and Lathy Sniffer, and I lost, obviously. And then I tried the first time with the new setup with being the new ant, which was interesting because I technically won by power, but I lost somehow. No, actually, I was looking at the wrong one. Okay, there you go. This one. So I really didn't lose by much. As you can see, the stats drastically change. And then you can see after that, win, 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 win. All of the attacks with this ant as being in the pro won when usually me and Carver are pretty 1-to-1 when we hit each other or defend from each other. And then I put my giant tooth back into defense. I lost. And then you can see on defense with it being set up, some of them were close, some of them were not. That one was really close, but I still lost. But as you can see, it does well on both defense and offense, running with a double DPS behind it as it is meant to be a support. Now, I wouldn't think that it's going to do very good as far as PvE, because as we discussed in this channel before, PvE is typically a pure DPS and you're trying to get essentially as much damage on target as you possibly can in the set amount of times that you have to hit. So I would suspect, I will have to test, but I would suspect that this ant, even with this damage bonus skills that it has, is not going to do very good against the likes of like Pangolin or Groundhog. And I'll have to test that in the future to see. But based on the skills and what I've seen thus far, I would say that it is not going to be a PvE ant. It is most certainly going to be a PvP ant. So with that being said, I hope it answered a lot of questions and concerns about this ant. Now obviously you can get this ant from the ant party. And yeah, you can get it from there, and I hope this helped. I have other videos about how to most efficiently be able to get these kind of ants. I kind of sped along a little bit because I want to put out content for y'all to help y'all because I had some questions about it. So I hope it helped, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Hey now.